Okay, so this follow on to the order following. Now we just finished off on speaking about how the cult masters, how they actually mock their subjects, the people who they actually have do their bidding for them. So they actually call it ritual mocking. So I'm just writing a few notes because I don't want to miss anything because it's quite important. So I'm just going to read from these notes, which is unusual for me, of course. So what happens? You get issued with dog tags to wear. All right. Do you ever think about that? Why in the military you get a dog tag? You know, and so then you think about the if you look at checkerboard right around that hat, right? That's symbolism, something very important that it's symbolizing, and it's wrapped around the brain of the police, right? The people who act as police officers. It's wrapped around their brain. To really let that sink in, because the checkerboard floor, I mean the checkerboards that's going around your head there, that's to represent the house of Freemasonry, that floor that they have, which represents total ignorance and total unconsciousness, a complete lack of understanding of the difference between what it is that's needed to give to life and what it is that takes from life, right? So which actions contribute to the well-being of others and which actions take away from the well-being of others. And then, of course, and then yourself, because we're all interconnected, right? That's what that's telling you. So those people who wear these hats, right, they can't tell the difference. That's what they're saying. So they're mind control robots, right? They're just flesh bots, really. And then on top of that, you have a look here in the center of the head, right? What's there? It's an inverted pentagram. And that represents the destruction of the human spirit and the raising of dualistic tendencies that initiate conflicts such as separation, disintegration, and fragmentation, which is the classic us versus them. So that's what they're coming. They're these flesh bots that are coming to say to you, it's us versus you. You know, and that's the first principle of Satanism, actually. So I'm just going to bring that up, the 4 principles, just so you can see what that is. So there you have it, right? There's the 4 tenets of Satanism. The first one is self-preservation, right? Self-preservation, that means that only what you can get for yourself matters. So if that means other people need to suffer in order to do it, then that's what you'll do. That's what it means by that. It means, you know, what I want versus what I'm willing to do. And what I want usually requires some kind of violent force, you know, and that's the belief that no one's going to help you get what you want, you know, that you must take it. That's self-preservation. That can only happen once you disintegrate yourself, right? Where you can have a disidentification with the other. There has to be an us and them. That's fragmentation that's required. And that's the first principle, you know, that self-preservation is the highest order, regardless of the consequence to anyone else. That's the root of everything that's been going on this planet right there. That's why it's their first principle. And you think about how many people have been operating out of that. Like, just think about through this COVID disaster, right? How many people have said things like, well, it doesn't really affect me, you know, I can still get everything I need. So, you know, I'm just going to carry on, you know, that's it. That's Satanism right there. It penetrates into the lowest order of the hierarchy structure, you know, when people actually operate out of that space. So you can see how prevalent it is and how pervasive it is, you know, and that's the really tragic part, is because people can't even tell that they've been programmed into being like this. That's where it's really scary. And it needed a situation like this to bring it to the bulk of people's attention who want to see it. Unfortunately, that's still a minority. Okay, I'm going to bring up the next slide. So hold for 1 second. I need to go back to the original slide because there's more to say. So if you have a look at that upside down pentagram that's there, where is it placed? It's placed right over the third eye of the crown chakra, or, you know, the pineal gland where you know, it's located. So it's showing all who can see that the wearer is acting to destroy the sacred essence of creation itself. That being to act in order to undo the interconnectedness of all life. That's what they're symbolizing, they're coming to do. And that's wrapped around your brain, right? Could you imagine? You know, it's symbolically showing you that they are under the control of Satanists. And here they go. And they'll actually go and perform the acts of a Satanist. They do their bidding for them. And the reason why they need to do that is because the Satanist knows that they are going to, if they actually manifest these actions into the physical plane, that they are going to bear the burden of karmic debt And so they need others to do it for them so they can be shielded from that burden. That's why they do it that way. And then you have a look at this image here, right? So you've got your master holding the chain. This is the police officer, right? Down like a dog, and there's a bowl there. And what's it doing? It's eating out of its worthless currency, you know, out of the dog bowl, that fiat currency they invented, the fake money. It's not even real, right? It's just in your mind. So it's not backed by anything. And so that's how badly, you know, they're actually laughing at you guys, right? Just how easy you are to go and do their bidding, how easy it is for you to go and do their bidding for them, how willingly you'll do it. Now, so I've just cut a small portion of video just to show you this in actual real term and real life. So I'm going to come back with that video. Okay, so here it is in real time, what I just said, right? These are men who are willing to eat out of that dog bowl of fake money, right? And what they're willing to do to someone else in order to get it. So here we go.
If you've had enough as much as us, why you still enforce the boys? You have to.
Did you hear that? He said he has to. So he doesn't have a choice, right? Otherwise he won't get his fake dog bowl full of money, fake money, right? He just won't get it. So he has to. This is someone who doesn't believe, is not aware that he has a choice. How do you get someone to do that? Well, all those 4 steps need to be pushed into them. So let's listen on.
I get paid to do this, mate. I'm just as over this fucking protest as you are.
Did you hear that? He just said it with his own words. I get paid to do this. That's his motivator. The fake dog bowl money.
What protest I mean, locked in. Fair enough, I've got to do what I've got to do.
There you go again. He's got to do it. He doesn't have a choice. See, that's the absolving of choice, right? This is one of the first things that the order follower will do. They'll say they don't have a choice. They're gone, evaporated. It's not up to them. That's the absolving themselves of any responsibility. That's how it's done, right, guys? Because they need everyone to absolve themselves of responsibility. Because if they took it, they'd never be doing these things because the conscience wouldn't allow it. So let's listen on.
I'm not skilled to do anything else, mate. So unfortunately, at this time of my life, that's what I have to do.
You hear the excuses are coming thick and fast, yeah? He's got a ton of stories that justify, remember the word justify, to create a right, to justify why this is what he's doing. And he's not a bad guy, right? This is all that internal story he has to create in order for him to follow orders that are out of alignment with that which he himself seeks.
We don't get paid. We don't get food for my here, mate.
See that? He's saying, I hear, but he doesn't. There's just lip service, right? He doesn't hear you. If he heard you, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing.
Then why are you standing on this side of us? That's what I get paid to do.
There you go, said it the second time, right? So he's telling you what is motivating. The only thing that matters is that he gets this fake money. That's all that matters. Right? It doesn't matter about standing in conscience. It doesn't matter about having courage. Those things aren't important. It's just getting the fake money, right? Because why? It's fear of missing out. Because if I don't do it, someone else will. So better I do it than them. Could you imagine that? That's that whole separation mentality, right? It's all there right in front of you. Classic Satanists right there, you know, and the Satanists require others to behave like them, to do it for them. And here you go. So there's his conscience now coming up, right? Saying, you know, if I didn't care, I wouldn't be talking to you the way I'm talking to you, right? So there's that battle, right? Because the conscience, you can't shut it down. You can't program it. It's coming out. So there's some part of him who wants to, you know, try and make good with what he's doing. But unfortunately, he just doesn't have the courage, right? So that left brain is over dominant. The right brain's trying to get into, the left brain keeps shutting it off because the fear of missing out is so massive, right?
Exactly. That's fine. I'm still asking you to go home. Said, get your paycheck so you and your wife can eat. We won't, but you can eat.
Okay, there you have it, guys. Oops, I'll turn that off. And that should do it for this time around.